Mitchell Robinson could be returning soon from an injury, while also the New York Knicks starting five is starting to make some history when it comes to their offensive production behind Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and the rest of the New York Knicks, and we're going to break this all down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as usual, starting with the fact that, well, guys, the New York Knicks, they have one crazy offense. And guys, look, we knew it was going to be good when acquiring Karl-Anthony Towns, but I don't know if we all thought it would be as good as it is. As Tommy Beer revealed a stat from Twitter about the New York Knicks offense, saying that no starting unit has ever averaged more than 92 points per game. In fact, only two teams have ever finished a season averaging more than 91 points per game. The world champion Boston Celtics starting five last season at 91.3, and the iconic 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns team in 2004-2005 at 92 points per game. That team won 62 games. Steve Nash won an MVP. Mike D'Antoni was the head coach, and the New York Knicks starting five this year is averaging 97.5 points per game. So not only are the New York Knicks averaging more points per game than any starting five in NBA history, they're blowing teams out of the water. Now, there's a lot to talk about and unpack with this, specifically that the New York Knicks, we knew this was going to happen, that their offense would be great. It was impossible for the starting unit's offense to not be great. I mean, Jalen Brunson has been his usual self. Karl-Anthony Towns has been unbelievable. Josh Hart has been great. He's shooting 40% from three this season. The New York Knicks are just clicking on all fronts. It starts with the stars, but the whole starting lineup is they've just been awesome. I mean, Brunson putting up 25 points with 7 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 43% from three. Meanwhile, just shooting from everywhere. I mean, 35% of his shots are threes, and so many of his threes are off his own dribble. The man is just, we know the deal with Jalen Brunson. He's a true NBA superstar. He's one of the best players in basketball, and we're seeing it once again as he leads this unit. But it also comes down to Karl-Anthony Towns, who's now 5th in MVP voting, or on the MVP ladder, according to NBA.com. Now, Towns is putting up 25 points with 13 rebounds and 3 assists, while also shooting 53% from the field and 45% from deep. Karl-Anthony Towns has been unbelievable for the New York Knicks this season. And I think we all kind of understood that if this was going to work out, he was going to have to shoot above 40% from three. Well, Towns has understood the assignment, as he's literally shooting 45% from three exactly. The man has been flat out unbelievable. Watching Karl-Anthony Towns play basketball is just nuts. The guy truly is so good. He's got I believe he's got the most, he does. He leads the league in rebounding. And while doing that, he's also averaging 25 points and 45% from three with over 50% from the field. He is fouling a lot as per usual, but that's not an offensive thing. We're talking about the Knicks offense here. And you just see how this team is absolutely clicking on every front. Meanwhile, OG Anunoby's had an incredible season. We talked about this on the Happy Hour show last night with me, Matt, and Darielle, where OG Anunoby has been playing the best basketball of his career, and that contract has proven to be worth it. I love that 76ers fans went out there and said the Knicks did the same thing the Sixers did with Tobias Harris, because that's just become absolutely false. While OG's putting up 1.5 steals and 1 block per game as a defensive stalwart on this team, he's also averaging nearly 18 points with 5 rebounds and 2 assists, and shooting 39% from three and 49% from the field. He's only shooting 38% on corner threes, which is low for OG, but he's still one of the most trusted corner three-point shooters in the NBA and on the New York Knicks. And speaking of corner three-point shooters, Mikal Bridges is shooting 45% on corner threes. Now, for him, it's the three-point percentage in general that's kind of low at 33%, but that'll climb as the season goes on, I'm pretty sure of it. Well, he's also getting a steal per game on the defensive end, which is nice. He's doing everything we wanted out of Mikal Bridges outside of the fact that his shot has been a little inconsistent. He's putting up 16.5, 3.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Numbers that one should have expected out of Mikal Bridges as he tries to navigate finding a new role on a new team once again. And I think he'll get there and become more efficient. Meanwhile, Josh Hart is having the best offensive season of his career and just the best season of his career, putting up 14 points per game with 8.5 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, he's shooting 40% from three, as I mentioned earlier, and 60% from the field. As Steve Kerr said, Josh Hart is just a winner. This New York Knicks team is just full of winners. It starts at the top with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns and head coach Tom Thibodeau doing his thing. And I do have to mention very quickly, I do understand a lot of this comes from the fact that Tom Thibodeau is overplaying the starters, and he really should stop doing that. But Brunson is not being overplayed. It's really OG and Mikal Bridges who are, because the Knicks have a lack of forwards coming off the bench. I do imagine the Knicks are going to do something about this. Specifically, I imagine they'll sign TJ Warren at some point off their G League, and TJ Warren's been playing phenomenal basketball in the G League. So that's my guess. But we also have way more fun news to talk about, which is Mitchell Robinson may have just hinted at his return, as he tweeted out 2 days ago, "Let's go, I got some great news." Now, if you follow Mitchell Robinson on social media, you know he makes a lot of social media posts. We also talked about this on the Happy Hour show last night. Look, Mitchell Robinson is awesome. I love Mitchell Robinson as a player. I find his social media very funny. I know most people do not love the fact that he's getting out and amped on social media and acting kind of funny. I don't care. I think that Mitch should be able to do whatever he wants because it's not affecting his play on the court, and he's allowed to just say stuff on social media, especially his Twitter account is private now, so he's not really just letting everyone follow him. If you didn't follow Mitch before he was private, you can't follow him now, essentially. So Mitchell Robinson, super hype about what you have to imagine is coming back, and the reason that I believe this is Mitch hinting that he's coming back is tweeting today is a great day, and also tweeting out yesterday, "Can Megan Moroney come to my return game?" Now, here's the thing. I didn't know who Megan Moroney was when he tweeted this out. I literally had to look her up. She's a country music singer. I don't really listen to country music. I live in the middle of Manhattan. That's not really my genre. But I had no idea who this woman was until then, and I do think I'm one of the few people on the planet who doesn't know who she is, or one of the few people in America who doesn't know who she is, not on the planet. But I do know who Mindaugas Kuzminskis is, and that's more important in my mind anyway. I imagine there's some other Knicks fans who are the exact same way, who has no idea who Moroney is, but does know Kuzminskis, and that's what really matters. Also, guys, go check out Raptors Digest and let me know if Mindaugas Kuzminskis looks just like Ben Rogers from Raptors Digest. I think they look identical. I think it's really funny. I texted him about it the other day. It really cracks me up. But on the topic of Mitchell Robinson, 8 points per game, 8 rebounds per game for his career, while shooting 70% from the field on his career with a career average of a 20 PER. The man has just been super effective when he's on the court. He makes the Knicks better. He always has ever since his rookie year. The man's truly been figuring it out as one of the best defenders in basketball and the best offensive rebounder in the sport. And before he got injured last season, he was averaging 10 rebounds with 6 points, 1.5 steals, and 1.5 blocks. After the injury, his numbers went down to around 8 and 5, and that's just because he was playing hurt. He played well in the playoffs, even though he was injured. And I mean, Mitch did a very good job in the playoffs despite the injury. He went out there and gave a lot of trouble to Joel Embiid, to the point where Joel Embiid felt the need to injure Mitchell Robinson. And now look at Philly, 13th in the Eastern Conference, 6-15, while the only teams below them are the Charlotte Hornets and the Washington Wizards. And, well, the Sixers are just in the dumpster right now, and it's really, really funny, and I hope they continue to be in the dumpster because, well, it just cracks me up how much they can't stop talking about the Knicks. And now they're just trash. Such a shame. Look, shout out Sean Bernard from Sixers Digest. He's the man. But, look, Mitchell Robinson coming back is going to be huge for the New York Knicks. It's no secret the New York Knicks defense has not been what fans have wanted it this year. It's just been very obvious the Knicks need more help defensively, and Precious Achiuwa coming back is going to give the Knicks and the fans a glimpse of what that'll be once Mitch returns. But as of right now, the Knicks are waiting on Mitchell Robinson's return to be a full-strength team. We're going to see Mitchell Robinson play alongside Karl-Anthony Towns at times, and we're going to see him come off the bench at times. Especially when Mitch first comes back, he'll be coming off the bench. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The reason the Knicks are waiting for Mitch to become fully healthy is because they don't frankly care if Mitch is playing in December or January. They care if he gets enough time to be ramped up so he can play in the playoffs. That's what matters, is you have to have that rim protection come the playoffs. Rim protection is something, it's the one thing in basketball history that's never went out of style. Ever since the beginning of basketball, you've needed good rim protection. It's the most important part of defense, and we're seeing the Knicks defense fall off because they don't have good rim protection with Karl-Anthony Towns at the center. Mitchell Robinson solves this problem essentially instantly. And also, yes, there is the fear that the offense takes a dip when Mitchell Robinson starts because, frankly, he doesn't shoot the ball at all. And that's fine. He doesn't have to. Mitchell Robinson's the best offensive rebounder in basketball, and the highest percentage of open three-pointers come off of offensive rebounds, something Mitchell Robinson has excelled at and something Karl-Anthony Towns is great at when he's down there. And it's going to lead to the Knicks still getting open threes, and especially in a lineup where everyone can shoot, Mitch getting offensive rebounds and having 4 guys on the perimeter is going to be helpful. Mitch is great at one-on-one offensive rebounds. He always out-rebounds the person who he's going with in a one-on-one setting. You have to bring multiple people down there to stop Mitchell Robinson because he jumps so high. His arms go forever. He's tall. He's a super athlete, and his timing for the ball has become absolutely incredible over the last few years. Mitch has just developed as a player. I know people have said that he hasn't really developed. He's just gotten bigger. No, Mitch is a much different player than he was in his rookie year. Yeah, he was more bouncy and getting 7 blocked shots, but that's because people didn't know who he was. Now people know who Mitchell Robinson is. They're not going to challenge him at the rim, and they understand that you have to put a big focus on Mitch or he will torment you on the boards. He's one of the best rebounders in basketball. He's the best offensive rebounder, and he just torches people with it. He's just so good at timing when to get the ball, and he weirdly, every time a few years ago when he used to get an offensive rebound, 99% of the time he would just throw the ball back to the rim and shoot it. Now he's constantly looking for a kick out. It's like maybe he's afraid to shoot or something, but I really don't think that's the case. I think it's just what the Knicks like having Mitch do. Though I do hope Mitch comes back with a little post action just because, I mean, it's important to be able to do that as a rim protector. Just give a little post move, give something like that. But I do more think it's the New York Knicks telling Mitchell Robinson, you're not here to score the ball. And hopefully Mitch can kind of correct them on that. I'm a big fan of Mitchell Robinson. He's my favorite player on the Knicks. I found him to be tremendously funny. And usually a guy who's just grabbing offensive rebounds and being a defensive stalwart shouldn't be that fun to watch. But Mitchell Robinson absolutely is. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is what Mitch is talking about, saying the great news, talking about trying to get Megan Maroney to a game? Let me know down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. Let's try to get there before the new year. 26% of people watching this are subscribed right now. Join the other side. Make that 26% go up. Guys, have a great Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. Go Knicks.